The Lakers had an extremely active and an extremely successful trade deadline, making multiple moves, all of which helped their playoff hopes. I think Rob Pelinka deserves a lot of respect and praise for all the moves he made, all of which I think were in favor of the Lakers, and they didn't really have to give up too much to get any. We're going to go through all of them, break them down, and just talk about how I think the Lakers now stack up with the rest of the West at the end of the video. Before we get into the major one, let's just talk about the two ones on the side. First, let's talk about the Pat Bev, and a second to the Orlando Magic for Mo Bamba. First of all, I like this for the Lakers. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Mo Bamba definitely adds nice size and spacing off the bench at the 5 position, especially because they gave up Thomas Bryant as well. They replaced that backup 5. Pat Bev definitely was decent for them and gave them some defensive pressure, but they replaced that with Mikal Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, plus they have Austin Reeves and Schroeder all coming back from injury and looking good. So I think it's fine for them to give in a Pat Bev. It's unfortunate that he tweeted about getting his guys back just to get traded again, but hey, that's the business of the NBA. So yeah, for the Lakers, I like it. For the Orlando Magic, I think this is a really nice trade for them. Second round pick's always solid, but I think Pat Bev is a really nice guy for culture. Despite all the clowning he gets, he definitely knows how to come in and get guys to really buy in and commit to this defensive side of the ball, and I think that's good for a young Orlando Magic team. The more vets you have, I think, is always better for young guys, so they develop winning habits instead of taking it relaxing, kind of like the Houston Rockets lacking any true vets. Look how that team plays with no real chemistry or like offensive flow. I think Pat Bev, while the Magic aren't as bad as the Houston Rockets and they play a lot more like a team, I think Pat Bev is just going to come in there and help build that culture and help build a bunch of guys trying to like buy in and really hustle on the defensive end, and I think it'll be good for them. Next trade that's on the side is Thomas Bryant going to the Denver Nuggets for Davion Reed and 3 second-round pick. I think this is pretty much like a nothing trade. They think they can replace Thomas Bryant's value with Mo Bamba, and they also knew they couldn't pay him in the offseason, so now you just kind of get rid of him and you don't have to worry about that, and you replace his production. Davion Reed is solid. I don't think he really gets any play time with the Nuggets. I barely ever see him when I do watch them. The 3 second-round picks is solid. Definitely just helps them kind of build up their depleted draft stock. Still just second-round picks at the end of the day. For the Nuggets, I really like this trade. I think Thomas Bryant is going to be kind of the perfect type of backup big for them. Yes, he can't really play defense at a high level, and he has some problems when it comes to his playmaking, but he can space the floor and score inside at a high value, and I think they just need some good offensive big off the bench so they can play a kind of similar style to what they play with Jokic. Of course, they can't do that one-to-one, and they won't ever be able to find that backup big. I think Thomas Bryant brings a lot of really good things to the Nuggets, and definitely is an upgrade over DeAndre Jordan, who they were having to run at times when Zeke Naji was too small. For the Lakers, I think it's a pretty much decent trade. You get rid of a guy that you can't pay, and you get some second-round picks back. The last trade that the Lakers made was an absolute W in my opinion. It was a 3-team trade involving the Wolves and the Jazz. The Lakers sent Westbrook, a 2027 first-round pick, top 4 protected the Jazz. The Lakers got back D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, and the Wolves got Mike Conley, a 2024 5/6 second-round pick goal from the Jazz, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. First, I think Rob Pelinka deserves a lot of respect for being able to pull off this deal. They turned Russell Westbrook and one of their pick protections on it still into 3 really good rotational pieces who I all think could get a lot of play time come playoff time. First, I think D'Lo is the type of third star, or they're hoping could be a third star alongside AD and LeBron and take over in some moments with LeBron and AD on the bench. Hopefully he can run some bench units for them and really be a transitional guy who can hold over those minutes when those 2 guys really need a rest. And hopefully he can be like what they thought Westbrook could be and win them some games when those guys are sitting out. Malik Beasley is a really, really good 3-point shooter, one of the best in the league, and really just gives them that elite 3-point threat that they've been missing all year. I think they're going to be able to put him in a lot of actions. I think he'll be a really good piece for them. You can maybe see him being in the closing lineup sometimes if he's really hot from deep and they need that extra lift offensively. But I think Lonnie Walker is going to get the start alongside D'Angelo Russell. Who knows how that's going to shake up, but I think Malik Beasley's better as a 6-man, 7-man off the bench who's going to just give you an offensive lift as well as play okay defense, just kind of exist out there. Third guy they got back was Jared Vanderbilt, who I think is a really good pickup for them and is going to be able to shore up their defense and be a nice defensive 4 off the bench for them. Also really good energy guys and just plays really hard on both ends. And he's developed a corner 3 over this year. He doesn't really shoot them that often, but maybe that's something he can work on over the next kind of bit. But overall, I just think being able to get 3 really solid rotational pieces who all have playoff experience or can play in the playoffs is really, really good for the Lakers. And they were still able to put a protection on the pick, which absolutely blows me away. I don't know how the Jazz accepted that, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. For the Jazz, I'm a little disappointed for them. I feel like you could have gone the pick without any protections for Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt, but hey, you got off of those guys, plus Mike Conley, you offloaded his contract. Now you can go fully in on the tank and give a lot of PT to your young guys and really see what you have to build alongside Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler. But the trade's overall, I think, pretty fine for them. For the Wolves, I like the trade. You get rid of D'Lo, who already seemed like he wanted to leave in the offseason, for Mike Conley, who has an extra year on his contract and has already played a lot of time with Rudy Gobert and shown that he can run a pick and roll at a high successful level. Plus, I think he's probably just a little bit easier to manage because you don't have to worry about getting him a lot of touches. He understands his role as a vet. 3 second-round picks is also pretty nice draft compensation. And you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I doubt he's going to get any play time, but, he's there. And overall, I think the Lakers just had a super successful trade deadline. I think all of these moves really helped them come playoff time, and I think they have a real chance now of making a top 8, top 9 seed, really depending on how those guys like AD and LeBron shake out health-wise. A lot of teams made improvement in the West, so it's still going to be really hard for them. KD went to the Suns, Kyrie on the Mavs now. Nuggets still look really good, plus they got Thomas Bryant, who's not a world-changing type of player, but I think that just kind of shores up their depth even more. So it's still going to be, and the Clippers, made moves, still going to be really hard for the Lakers to crack into that top 6 seed, but I think they definitely have a solid playoff berth now, and I think when this team gets to the playoffs or play in, I think it's pretty likely that they'll be able to win 1 or 2 games depending where they shake out in the standings. I'm just really excited for them. Playoff time, this also gives them real hope of winning a 7-game series with some of the teams out west. I think even before these moves, if people thought they could make the playoffs and make a deep run, I really doubt that. I thought maybe they could make the first round and probably get bounced just due to their depth and, LeBron and AD's health. You can't really play those guys a lot of minutes, especially leading up to the playoffs. So all these moves really help that. And I think come playoff time, they might be able to make it past the first round. And hey, guys get hot. LeBron and AD are on. Anything can happen. And yeah, I really like this move. I really like all these moves for them. And like the video and subscribe if you liked it.